Welcome to Muddy River News This Week, furnished by Harvey's. I'm Bob Goff. You know, it's that time of year where we get ready for resolutions. You want to quit smoking, you want to quit drinking, you want to maybe lose a little weight, you're looking for a little inspiration to do that. I got a guy who might be able to help you. Christopher Seals is here. He's my guest today. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Christopher is here because he's lost a significant amount of weight by doing yoga. And not just any kind of yoga. He has been doing yoga. That is a program that has been put together by a former professional wrestler, pretty famous guy named Diamond Dallas Page. And this picture right here is Chris with DDP and Mrs. DDP. And how in the heck did you get started on this?
Well, actually, there is a video out there about a guy named Arthur Borman. He was a paratrooper in Desert Storm, and the whole video doesn't talk about DDPY. It just talks about Arthur's story, and this man walked with 2 crutches. He was very overweight. Every doctor told him he would walk like that the rest of his life. He happened upon what was then called yoga for regular guys, was what Diamond Dallas Page called it originally, and then he actually, but then was in the very beginning stages of this program. He and Dallas would talk back and forth, and then one day Dallas got a video of Arthur, and there was a speck in the distance in this park that was walking and then running, or then jogging and then running, and it was Arthur who had gone from crutches to running and losing a significant amount of weight. And so that kind of stuck with me, and then unfortunately it didn't click at first that I could do that. I didn't work for me, and for me it was a huge catalyst for me is unfortunately we lost a good friend. And he was a very overweight guy, and that was in January of last year. And then in March, I stepped on the scale at over 400 pounds, and I realized I'm next. And so then I started doing DDPY. It's a combination of yoga, calisthenics, and physical therapy things that have actually come together, and I've lost 170 pounds doing it.
That's tremendous, and it's obvious you feel better, and you got energy and the whole 9 yards. So
absolutely.
And Diamond Dallas Page, again, he was a former professional wrestler, and anybody knows anything about professional wrestlers, those guys beat the crap out of themselves. So he had to have been in a situation where I got to do something if I want to be able to live and have a productive life in my later years.
He was told by several doctors he would never be able to wrestle again. And then someone suggested to him, why don't you try yoga? And in his own fashion, he said, yoga, that's not for me. And yoga's for sissies. And so, but then he got convinced to do it. And that's not a very good DDP impression. So
that's okay. But it's all right.
He's an awesome man.
We'll let it go.
Awesome man. But he is... But then he did it and started realizing his back pain was going away. He came back to win the title not once but twice.
Right.
And he didn't start this program for weight loss for people. He started to help people with pain. But the amazing part about it is being labeled grand champion this past year for the work that I've done. There were 7 other champions as well. Not all of us were about weight loss. One girl has beat cancer several times in her life. She's had hip implants and everything, pelvis removed, but she did it for mobility. Only lost 9 pounds, but she was able to go from barely walking across the room to walking around the block and doing these workouts.
So again, what's the time frame that you've lost the 100 or the 230 and 130?
170.
170. I was trying to do the math in my head, and I was thinking.
Yeah. So since March of last year, so what is that? 9. 18 months, yeah. So.
And when you say you were named grand champion, that's why you got to meet DDP, right?
Well, yes, yeah. So what it was, there's this. They do Positively Unstoppable Challenge, and they'll be launching it for 2024. The end of this month. So anyone that wants to do it, one of the champions this year, Johanna, she started with this. Now, I started before and didn't really know what the challenge was. His name of his book is Positively Unstoppable, and it's not just a great name. It is really a mental shift that happens with this. But you take 6 months, you set goals, and then between January and the end of September, you take your best 6 months and say, this is what I've done. And so when I entered, I did not look at it as winning. I just thought, you know what, I've been having such great success with this program. I'm just going to keep rolling and then offer up what I have. And I was very happy that worked. But what the amazing part is the mental shift. That's a huge gift.
We'll have a link to all this on at the bottom of this page that you can look if you're interested, and probably have a video of DDP going kind of explaining it to you too. So where did you go to meet him and be a part of this?
He's in Smyrna, Georgia, or Atlanta, Georgia. That's where his performance center is, and so I went down there, and this is my 3rd time meeting him. I was down there a couple times this past summer. And got to do some workouts, which it's an app-based workout. Mm-hmm. And so I actually in June and in August went down and got to be on stage with him, with other people. So now when I go to do these workouts, I'm on stage, which is a mind-blowing thing to think. Last year I was never able to do this, and
Sure.
Now I'm on stage with them. And so it's an amazing gift.
And again, I think when you first started, as there was anything, it had to just been wow. I'm never. This is not going to work.
Well, I was really concerned, but they have set up this program where you can do this from bed. Mm-hmm. You can do it sitting in a chair, or you can do it standing only, or you can try to do the beginner. And it's so well broken down in how he starts you off. It is not just here, do this. And one of the awesome things about this is all these workouts, he's as real as he can be in these. Like if he makes a mistake counting, for instance, they leave it in because it's real. We're all real people, and he wants it to be real. And that's one of the things that clicked with me. It wasn't all these shiny, perfect bodies. It was guys like me that were working. He had guys on stage behind him that were not perfect 6-packs and bulging muscles. It was guys like me. Yeah. And that's what I totally
and when he wrestled, he wasn't one of those. I mean, he was a pretty regular. I mean, he wasn't cut. I mean, he's a big guy, and he's got muscles and all that, but he's not as cut as some of those guys are.
Yeah.
But he always had great technique, and he was a great performer, and the whole part of it, and he had the personality, so it's no surprise that he can take that and apply this to something that can really help people.
Yeah. Well, and his heart shines through. At the Christmas party where my lovely outfit was revealed, he talked about this video. There's a former wrestler, Butterbean.
Oh yeah.
So now I was not a wrestling fan, but I tell you what, I am getting.
Butterbean was a boxer, right?
He was a boxer
but
too.
Then he became a wrestler.
But he was walking with 2 canes earlier this year, and now he's able to jog because DDP has put the work into him, but also Butterbean has been willing to do the work. Yeah. So that's the real key fact, is that he was able to put the work in. So you can't make the decision for anyone. They have to make the decision themselves. But I'm in this room with Mark Miro and all these guys, and I'm like getting a crash course in all these guys, and amazing, amazing individuals.
Is there a ring there?
Oh, in the house? No, there's not.
You've had no like preliminary training or anything like that to wrestle.
But because what he says, no matter what you think about wrestling, you cannot fake gravity and how you hit that.
True.
He does have a workout room in there, and I did get to go in there and stuff, but I did get to hold his belt.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
And that was, just after you get to know the heart of this man, wow. He's much more than just the showboat and the wrestler. Sure. He is an amazing individual.
Well, and it sounds like he's helped a lot of people.
He has.
Aside from the yoga, what did you do? Did you do some nutrition stuff as well to go with it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I used to go to the gas station every morning and hit it hard. I would get about 3 of the not so little Debbies.
Mm-hmm.
I would hit those really hard, and then I'd get about a 40-ounce cherry Pepsi or Coke, take that to work, and the sugar was just killing my joints. I was in pain constantly, and of course, you know, it's just, I was addicted to the sugar, so I just kept going back. For lunch, I may go get Chinese plus, you know, I'm like, oh, well, I'll just get a box of Little Debbie's and I'll just eat one. Well, then I would demolish that box in the afternoon, plus I'd refill the soda. And so it was to the point where I didn't want people to see me stand up from a chair because it took me so long to get moving. I changed all that. I cut sugar out. I eat normal food, but I just don't eat junk food anymore. And it has helped tremendously. Like my family will go out for Mexican after, you know, after church on Sunday, but I know what is better. I just don't eat fried food. I just, and it's just making those conscious decisions. Yeah, I'm not like gnawing on carrots and celery all the time. That's not it, because you know, I kind of changed my focus from must have the sweets to how to fuel the body the better way. But also, and DDP says it, he goes, I don't eat what I don't like.
Yeah.
So I have found foods that I really enjoy, and luckily I do like fruits and vegetables a lot, so that worked well for me, but in incorporating more of those and getting rid of the sugar was huge.
So do you follow a daily calorie
When I
mark?
started, actually, I worked on a calorie deficit, and because I was
You were
using,
probably like 4,000 calories a day beforehand? Higher than that? Wow.
you could, yeah, we're talking 5,000 to 6,000.
Wow, okay.
When I figured it in, you know, when you're talking like the largest Chinese meal you can get, or as many trips back to the buffet as you can possibly get, until you feel gross, and then and the amount of sugar I was eating, I put it into a app, and it told me I was about 5,000 to 6,000, plus the amount of soda I was drinking. That was, so now I started out and I went from 5,000 to 6,000, then I went to 2,200, and then I right now I'm around 1,700 to 2,000, because now I'm also working on building muscle, so I actually have to eat more calories, that's a new trick to learn, is to focus on losing it, now focus on building it.
Yeah,
so
15, you know, from what I understand it and stuff I've tried and still trying actually, it's like I try to stay between 1,500 and 2,000.
Yes.
Now sometimes part of that 2,000 might be a couple 3 beers, so you got to like subtract other stuff, but you try to, that's the range, and I got the counter and I was like, okay, stay under this. So, and I think that's thing. And again, I think, you know, you're the guys and the gals who are always trying to knock off those pounds. It's the sweets and the carbs, and if you can just get rid of the sweets and the carbs, or you can minimize them, you don't have to completely eliminate. But just to
you do need
minimize
some
them.
carbs.
Yeah, sure. And like you said, you know, knocking off the soda and switching, you know, filling that with water or what have you, and the little powders you put in it. I mean, all that kind of stuff just has to go a long way. And how long did it take you before you're like, okay, I don't miss this?
It wasn't too long. I mean, I was as addicted as I was to it. A friend of mine, she put it so well. When I stepped on the scale in the doctor's office and it's hit 409 pounds, and I thought, that's it, I'm next. It was put to me like this. It's like the audible shot of a starter's pistol going off. And that's how I felt. And so I'm like, no more. And so, like, I haven't had a Little Debbie, like, you know, this time of year, there's all kinds of stuff floating around. And sales reps come in and bring in all kinds of treats, and I just walk on by. And it's become easier and easier, because I know how my joints feel with sugar. And so, and I can feel differences when I've had too much salt or whatever. So, and that's a really key thing, is I'm definitely learning more how my body works better on the right things.
Salt is something that I've always food has enough salt in it anyway. I can't remember the last time I actually put salt on something.
See, and I really do love salt.
Because it's like, you know, that's okay. That's already, you've already got it. But again,
Right.
yeah, it's on the table and people do it. And I put pepper on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because it's not salt. And
Right.
again, it's just that flavor and finding the things, whether it's a hot sauce, whether it's a whatever. You get those things that kind of trigger that, like, oh, that tastes good. That satisfies
Right.
that craving, and it can be good things and not bad things.
Exactly. Like actually this past summer they had a recipe. It's actually called Recipes, not just recipes. They're recipes on the app, and it is it. And I actually I had submitted a recipe that I make at home, and I won, and I got to go film a cooking show this past
cool.
in August, and so what it is it's called egg roll in a bowl. But what I do is I've substituted everything with sugar-free sauces, which there's amazing options out there now. Not everything tastes like it did 20 years ago. People have figured out we can have real food and have real things without having tons of chemicals in them. And again, so that was a very cool moment. So I got to film that with a friend of mine within the community, and so yeah, and that's another huge thing. The community of people, the Facebook page, DDP Yoga. It's you have to ask to be a part of it, but it's almost 80,000 people, and it is the most positive place you'll find on the planet.
Sure. So what is your routine? When do you find the time to do your workouts or make the time? I guess I should say you have to make the time.
Well, this is what I've said. I'm 52 years old. I spent 51 years watching a ton of TV, sitting around watching TV. And I've decided, you know what? I've watched enough TV to last. And if there's something I really want to see, I'll watch it on my tablet later. But now, I get up in the morning, I'll do a workout. Sometimes I actually have a yoga mat in my office at work, and I will do a 15-minute routine there because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a better employee for you if I'm healthier. So I'll do it there. And nighttime I tend to do one again. Actually, I have done workouts every day for 530 days.
That's great.
So it's just, I started off, I just wanted to do 7 days in a row. Then I was going to try to do 10 days, then 20. I'm like, oh gosh, I think I can keep this going. And now I've actually 533, I believe, is where I'm at.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I guess this is something, again, it's something to be proud of.
Thanks.
And I think it's something that hopefully people will watch this, and especially, again, you don't have to wait till a new year, but the new year's coming.
Absolutely.
So it's like, hopefully, your story will inspire, a couple of people or one or two, or a whole bunch of people to at least try this some way. And we'll have the links and everything for all that. And anybody wants to see that. And I think we've got some pictures of kind of your transformation as well that we've stolen off your Facebook page.
Sure.
So, but hey, thanks again. Thanks and congratulations, and best of luck, and keep up the good work.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
That's all the time we have for now. I'm Bob Goff. We'll see you next week.